Hello everyone, I am Tacit, and today I'm going to be going over the Gems of War event objectives for the All the Rage event in which the Spirit of Rage is added to the game. So this week, or more so last week, they ended up fixing dungeons. So there was a weird thing with it where the RNG for every single one of the rooms was not consistently even, and they have fixed it to be truly random now, so that every single room will have the same chance of being any possible option. They have also mentioned other things that they're going to be doing to improve Dragonites into the future, as far as them adding a Dragonite Gnome, which has already been confirmed to be added at some point, probably early next year, as well as the ability to potentially be able to target the eggs directly, because of course nothing is more annoying than getting like the third or fourth repeated dragon. So we'll just have to wait and see exactly what those improvements will be, but for now they've basically just made dungeons so it is completely true random. As far as the actual event stuff we have going on this week, let's start getting into the first troop that we have here, which is the Spirit of Rage. Comes in with a bunch of red, blue arcanes. It has a small amount of explodes that are increased by 2 per every single enrage on your team, and then enrage a random ally. For the most part, this is basically never going to be used. For one, it's not even that good at enraging a bunch of allies. However, there are already better mana accumulators out there. Ones that are way more consistent, that do way more. Not only has Explode gotten extremely bad in recent years, mostly because of how good Destroy is comparatively, but doing this small of an amount with almost no follow-up at all other than a single Enrage is pretty bad. It does do it for 12 mana cost, but of course there's a whole arsenal of things that can do it for the same mana cost or lower at a much more efficient rate. It has Fire Link, but so does Marilith, and aside from that, it just has a little bit of extra Enrage support. But overall, compared to something that is actually more focused on Enrage that doesn't do a little bit of mana accumulation, you're better off with using that and actually use a better mana accumulator than to bother using a mix like this, as it doesn't really serve either purpose good enough to use in combination. So overall, a pretty useless troop that will go to upgrading the kingdom. With it, we are able to get Urskaya to 21 star. This ends up bringing in an additional bonus of a little bit of extra tribute reward. Unfortunately, not the better one of tribute chance, but still a little something if you happen to be able to meet all the milestones. If nothing else, it makes it easier to hit the 10 and 20 star milestones in order to go get those extra stats, as well as this more tribute in general for those precious gems. Anyways, as far as the event key drop table is concerned, of course, it is a Urskaya week this week. So as far as everything there, if we go over to the Kingdom of Urskaya and then go and organize everything here, if we can figure out how the alphabet works, we can click on the U, go to base rarity, and here we go. So one thing that's pretty noteworthy and somewhat obvious, Enraged Carandera is not in drop table. Anything that is Soulforge, anything that's like those super Soulforge, the ones that are like always in drop table, in the Soulforge specifically, are never in the event key drop table, and that does of course include Enraged Carandera. The other things not available from this kingdom are the 4 Werewoods troops, as well as, I believe there's one. No, that was it. Alright, so it's just the Enraged Carandera and the 4 troops that are from Werewoods. Everything else that you see here is available. Overall, I would say it is a pretty skippable week. As far as the kingdom itself, it doesn't really have anything too good. It's like somewhat an Enrage kingdom, but doesn't even do Enrage that well compared to hero classes that do it, as well as a couple other mythics and such. There just isn't much to be done here. The most useful thing that you can end up trying to pick up is probably a Carandera, the standard one. Enraged Carandera is not in drop table, however, normal Carandera is. And in many situations, normal Carandera is actually better. For one, it has a 50% chance to curse all enemies when matching for a single extra turn. So if you're taking multiple extra turns, you're likely to be able to 4 times curse. Still has that impervious, and has a lower mana cost than the other Carandera, while still doing a somewhat similar effect. It deals damage to an enemy and then is boosted by Doom Skulls, and then converts all yellows to Doom Skulls and conjures a Doomstorm. The other one does the same thing, except it does it to all enemies, but it has a 9 higher mana cost to be able to do that. And there are a lot of situations where if you're mostly just want skull spam from it, you're actually going to be getting more value out of a normal Carandera than you are an Enraged Carandera. Do keep in mind, Enraged Carandera, not in drop table, normal Carandera is. For the most part, pretty skippable weeks on event keys unless you're just looking for stars or just more progress in general. Anyways, as far as other things, we do have of course, the reintroduction of the Imp in the drop table with the new mythic that's coming out this Friday. You probably want to wait until then to open Glory Gem Guild and VIP chest so that you can go get it then. However, it is technically available, and I believe it has been for about 2 days. It should have been, because it's the start of October, though it might have just refreshed as of today. However, you're going to want to wait till at least Friday, and then go for the new mythic if you're going to go try for this thing, if you're still looking to pick up your copy of the Spooky Imp. And it'll be available for all of this month, as well as next month. Anyways, next up, we have everything that we have going on throughout the week. So as far as the Guild Wars, we have the Baba Yaga's Deal. As far as this event, it's actually a kind of interesting one in what it allows us to do. It is specifically a color-based one. So as you can see here, the only troop restriction is the color of blue. So this opens up quite a lot, like, you know, anything you'd run for Blue Guild War, anything you'd run for Blue Delves, stuff like that. Probably more so Blue Delves based on the scaling. And we do end up getting a very nice bonus as well. We do have access to both skulls and spell damage, though most likely you're going to be doing spells because we have the Auto-Win Tesla. So whenever Tesla is available for one of these events while also having spell damage, due to how she scales, she's absolutely absurd when you can end up utilizing her, and you could just do some kind of mana combination like print Spef into a bunch of blue mana, get them up immediately, and then just cast them, win, and, you know, rinse and repeat. Overall, one of the easiest events we've probably ever had for it, so that's pretty cool. And yeah, you just keep wiping it down over and over and over again, and pretty straightforward event. As far as the scoring is concerned, it is actually pretty straightforward as well. It is rarity order with one exception. The Spirit of Rage is actually the best room. So the absolute lowest rarity one is oddly enough the best room, but from there it's just rarity order. So the best room is the Spirit of Rage, so whenever you see Spirit of Rage, take Spirit of Rage, then it goes Doomclaw, and then goes down the rarities. From Spirit of Rage being the best, and then simply rarity order from Mythic down to the Epics. And Spirit of Rage, despite being ultra rare at the absolute lowest, is actually the best room for this given week. So just rarity order, but always take Spirit of Rage when you see Spirit of Rage. Anyways, as far as other things, this Tuesday we have the faction event for the Weirwoods, one of the most annoying factions in all of existence. So yeah, that's kind of unfortunate. But if you want to go and get it done with potion effects and all the additional stats that you can end up having, you can end up doing that this Tuesday. It is one of the few where it might still be worthwhile to have all those extra stats to end up doing it for, as it is a very luck-based faction with so many transforms that both you and the enemy will do, and it can definitely take quite a few attempts, as well as a lot of RNG that you have to get through. Wednesday, we're going to be getting the cup for the Urskaya bonus. Nothing too special, it's been out for quite a while. Sentinel class this Thursday. As far as the Sentinel is concerned, it's a pretty average hero class in the current state of the game. Really tanky overall, has the spell while having the barrier on brown, while having score reduction and all that. But compared to elementals and other hero classes that are under that barrier category, it's definitely one of the less used ones. Not because it's necessarily bad, but because there's so many other options that are already better. So unless you're really looking for like a dispel barrier on brown option, and even then it's still contesting with that one dwarf hero class. So overall, just in a really weird situation where it's almost not really used much in the current state of the game, unless you're building like a pure Urskaya team or something similar. Very situational to end up coming out. And this Friday, we're going to be getting ourselves a new Deep Delve. The Deep Delve should be for Sea of Sorrows. So we're going to be end up getting that, as well as a new Mythic. Actually, I might as well bring those up real quick. So, of course, this is the Clam Lasher coming out for Sea of Sorrows, Merfolk Monster. This will be coming out on Friday specifically through the event. You'll be able to get it then for, I believe, about 710 gems to max it out, or to get enough copies where you use one blue orb, I mean. Because I believe that gets the legendary and then use a blue orb and then it's that mythic. So if you want to get it maxed that way, I believe it's 710 gems. You get your first copy, I think, at like 200 something. But yeah, we have this. It ends up synergizing pretty well with the legendary that does a bunch of true damage, because it too also does a bunch of true damage, while also removing some of their color. Unfortunately, it is remove and not destroy, so you don't get mana accumulation for it. It does have an interesting combo where it has both stealthy and spell armor, meaning not only can it not be targeted with spells, but even when it is eventually hit with a spell, it has a spell reduction to it. So an interesting combination, and I'm actually not sure if any other troop actually has that combination. Pretty interesting one to end up having, though unfortunately spell reduction isn't really high enough, nor is it gaining any kind of extra durability to really be able to utilize it fully, since it's only doing true damage and isn't necessarily actually stealing that life, it's just simply dealing out damage. As far as the Mythic, it is unfortunately just a weaker version of Scorpius, which is pretty funny given its name is Scorpio, as well as the fact that it's from the exact same kingdom of Drifting Sands. So it basically deals a bunch of true damage, generally enough to always one-shot, though not always, but pretty close to always, while also doing some poison and bleed, so even if it doesn't one-shot, it's probably getting one-shotted. And even if that doesn't one-shot, there's also a 50% chance it'll just kill them, assuming they're already poisoned. So overall, this thing is looking to just one-shot into one-shot into one-shot. This is actually really bad. Main reason being that it has no follow-up, no kind of extra turn, no kind of gem spawn, no kind of anything when it ends up actually securing a kill. So this ends up making it basically just a way weaker version of Arachne Weaver or a way weaker version of Scorpius, because why kill things one at a time, or when you kill them at 4 at a time, 2 at a time, any other similar mechanic? It's just not worth using. Even just Scorpius from its own kingdom can at least do double kill into double kill, which already requires like a poison. To some degree, of course, you can still one-shot without that poison, but why'd use this when you can just double kill to double kill, or something similar? It's just very, very underwhelming in that regard. Its final unique perk isn't even anything good either, just gives a bunch of attack to all green allies when matching green gems, which is something that it might not even be built onto a particularly green team, and even then it's looking to one-shot through true damage, not through skull damage. Just a very clunky troop that is pretty much never going to be used. However, it is available this Friday, so you can go get it then. But yeah, it's basically just weaker Scorpius is the easiest way to break this troop down. Just weaker in almost every possible way. And if I'm not mistaken, doesn't Scorpius also have Impervious? I mean, yeah, Impervious, which this thing doesn't even end up getting either. Scorp. Yes, he has Impervious. While also giving all brown allies a bunch of stats instead of just a little bit to the green to the attack. So yeah, he's essentially just weaker Scorpius. Is the easiest way to describe him in every single possible way. Especially since he's literally based on a scorpion as well for the Scorpio thing. Anyways, aside from that, so as far as Soulforge, we do not have anything that good in Soulforge, surprisingly. If you're a newer player, Yagway is a pretty good pickup. Very rare to end up saying that a Legends is worth getting, though this is one of a few where it might be worthwhile. If you happen to not have a Yagway right now and you see a Yagway in Soulforge. It is very high impact. It deals a bunch of damage to the first 2 enemies, boosted by its life. However, it also gets to steal... well, it has 2 things to basically synergize with that. So, it does it based on his life, but he also has a way to steal life. He steals life at the first enemy whenever he matches red. Well, when are you going to match red? Well, he also converts all purple into red. So, basically, he has like a triple synergy here, where he steals magic. This magic retroactively gives him his extra damage, so he's immediately getting that 8 damage to both his procs. He will transform all purple to red, which is 2 things. Not only does this feed back mana to him, but it also feeds back life to him, which feeds damage to him, which also steals life to begin with, which is also doing damage to the first slot, which is also what he's already hitting with his first slot. And overall, it's just a really good synergy troop. I wish more troops had this kind of synergy, like self-contained synergy. And of course, it also has synergy with other pretty easy to obtain troops like Queen Titania, for example, as well as like literally any red troop in existence. Can end up just feeding red to them through the excess that it ends up getting by having Yagway in like 2nd slot, and then like, you know, your other red in like 3rd or 4th, and you know, mana accumulators around it and other similar things. Overall, very, very, very solid troop, and one potentially worth even spending diamonds for if you happen to not have. Aside from that, all mythics pretty much underwhelming unless you're looking to get them for completionist sake. Nothing really too good to get as far as the specific 4 mythics that we have this week. Aside from that, as far as weapons are concerned, once again, nothing too good here. I guess just the standard mana accumulator ones if you really want to, for either Urskaya or Urska. And don't confuse them if you're looking for one or the other, as Urska is the troop type, and Urskaya is the location of Urskaya. As you can see right here, it is from the Urskaya location, which is the kingdom of Urskaya, whereas when it says Urska, this is the Urska type, not to be confused with the Urskaya kingdom. So there is a distinct difference between the two, though realistically not too much, because almost all Urskayas oh gosh, I can't even say it correctly, but almost all Urska troops are from Urskaya specifically. Not all of them, but you know, obviously a good number of them. But yeah, don't get confused on that, because they are very, very similar, though for the most part, probably all weapons also pretty skippable. Unfortunately, pretty underwhelming Soulforge this week. Nothing too good compared to some of the last weeks we've been getting, like last week where we had Rope Dart available, for example. But anyways, guys, that will wrap it up for now. We will be covering the team videos separately for now. I will possibly still combine them together, of course, again, based on feedback. But for now, I still kind of just want to keep dividing them. It is a lot quicker to end up getting this video out, as you could probably see, based on when this was out, if you're looking at it almost immediately when it comes out. But we will try to get the team's video out like today. Because I'm pretty sure like one of the main things for it was just the fact that, you know, it's a whole day later. So we are going to try to get the team's video out as soon as we can after this video. However, it will still be a separate video so that we can get this one out a little bit quicker in a reasonable amount of time. Anyways, guys, I'll catch you guys later. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you still have any other questions, feel free to leave in the comment section below, and I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye, everyone. Thanks for watching.